Welcome to One-on-One with Colette Linden. I'm here with Ward 2 candidate Lisa Vezeau. Ellen, how are you today?
Good morning. I'm great. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. Excellent. Love your swag. As we're talking about, had our city swag on.
Yeah, I have my city swag on today.
I know I've seen you at a lot of events in the summer and going out, reporting more, but you are at everything that I seem to be too, so you've been very busy. Lisa is currently on City Council, which you have a meeting tonight, don't you?
we have a meeting tonight at 4:30.
Yes, you do. Okay,
yes.
It's a busy day for you, so we'll get at it. So Lisa, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, what I want to talk to you about today, there's a lot of issues going on in the city, as you're very well aware.
Very aware.
What are some of the council issues that you've dealt with in the last couple of years that you're most proud of, and what are some that maybe we might want to do something a little bit different this time around?
I think I take a look at 2018 to now. It was definitely challenging, especially midway. We were dealing with the pandemic, and it's really interesting, and you definitely get to reflect, I think, a little bit more. And I was featured in the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, the We All Win campaign. I was featured because only 22% of elected officials on a municipal level are women.
Yes.
I'm also a mother of a son who has autism, which is, we don't see a lot of sort of parents of kids with disabilities, putting their names forward. So that was a very interesting lens. So, it really gave me a chance and an opportunity to kind of reflect on what I'm most proud of and what I want to continue to do. And definitely the municipal autism strategy, first one in Canada, not just Ontario. And, that's constantly evolving as well, because there has been changes to the Ontario Autism Program.
Yes,
and that sort of thing. So, that's probably what I'm most proud of in the past 4 years. We got together as a committee. We had community stakeholders involved. We had the Innovation Center involved. So it was very much a thoughtful process from beginning to end. Yeah. And also, I think, really important, it happened, I was at a physician recruitment event. Yeah. And I'd found out that 2 physicians were considering moving here, but did not because of the autism-related services, and they had a child on the spectrum. So that really pushed forward, we need to have something as a municipality, because a big push that's always happening is, we want to attract more business people, and we need to have more physicians, and we need, that very much, that economic growth piece.
Sure.
And when you take a look at economic growth, there also needs to be that quality of life,
right, your
family and family and culture that all kind of interconnects. Yes. It's interrelated. So that's probably something I'm most proud of, and also in the diversity of my boards and committees. I came from a strong, arts background and human capital background, and I remember because they were surprised I didn't go into like the Heritage Committee and things like that. I wanted to challenge myself. So chair of Police Services Board.
That's a challenge.
Very, very honored and proud of the support of my colleagues that I'm there. Yeah. Chair of the Finance Committee, the Accessibility Committee. I'm very much about diverse voices and making sure that everyone has a voice around the table. And I've always, in my volunteer life, work life, political life, focus in on voices that can't get heard. And I would say that's probably and will always be what motivates me, is knowing that there are voices that aren't heard, and how do we get them heard. And the other key piece, and Colette and you and I were just discussing that, is getting people out to vote.
Vote, yes.
I don't think that any candidate can say, I'm going to fix everything. It's all about working together as a team. And I think for voters, and I always say that, as my, last year when my kid was 18 and he could vote, I said, you research who you want to vote for. Exactly. So what I would like to say to everyone is research the candidates, get to know the issues, what are important to you, contact, ask questions, and get out and vote. Yeah. I think that's really, really, really important. And I know that's something that you're concerned with, and myself included, especially getting our young people out to vote.
You can't keep making complaints about how things are going if you're not going to be a voice at some point. And at this point, as a citizen, your voice is to vote. So you have to get out there, and that's why we're doing these one-on-one interviews. To be perfectly honest, is to be transparent and
I think it's understanding too. that education piece of what we can and cannot do as a city representative. You know, I get a lot of calls, especially with my ward in terms of, you know, mental health and addictions. Last week I met with a few of the hotel owners and police. We had representation from the police because of activity that's happening, you know, in terms of, you know, perhaps cars getting broken into, things like that. So, you know, as council, we can certainly facilitate meetings, but it's also everyone working together to find solutions.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really important as well. And I know there's been a lot of controversy in terms of Plaza. But it's very much research driven. If you take a look at the downtown dialogue research, which was done by Nordic several years ago, as well as the report done by the fellow whose name I am dropping now, who did all about the wayfinding, Robert Brooks. When you activate spaces, then you see a decrease in what you call nuisance activity. And it is very much data driven, and I you know, fully support the plaza and the market. You know, you take a look at what that dollar amount is versus the twin pad, and they're not even comparable. And you know, the twin pad is great, and we did get funding for the twin pad, but that twin pad was approved before the funding. And I think...
And so was the mill market move, right?
Exactly, but very different price tags.
Very, very different, and that is a big issue.
And, you know, I take a look at the twin pad, you know, that will get used a lot. Hockey's big in this town and recreation. However, you take a look at the plaza and the market, that is community-wide. And it's free. And it's accessible, and I think of the quality of life for all the folks living in all of those high rises in that surrounding area. I think it's really going to make a big impactful difference. Even just take a look at the improvements to Bay Street. I never saw people walking on Bay Street before. People are on the trails on Bay Street now constantly.
Well, we do want to bring more activity to our downtown
we do,
core.
and
100%. And our waterfront's beautiful.
Our waterfront is beautiful.
Just needs to be utilized a little bit more.
And I think for anyone, I'm really happy to see newcomers running. I think that's so important. I applaud everyone running. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of commitment. It really puts you from a personal level out there, which is not easy. And you know, I'm hopeful that I continue to create some positive change.
Well, you have created a lot of change
in the next 4 years. You know, and it has to be a balance. You know. You know, advocated for the McDonald Avenue sewer improvements because there was a lot of flooding happening. So it goes from that to, you know, the inaugural IMET committees that I was part of, to municipal autism strategy, to, you know, all of that work. So, you know, you need to have that balance, and, you know, it's not just sewers and roads. It's also quality of life. It's also ensuring that, you know, everyone is getting what they need in our community, and growing the tax base. So, you know, you have to find those fine lines and realize where your priorities are. But what I really like is that I think we all come with a different lens. Like, I will always have that diversity lens. That's just who I am. And I think it's really important that we have a lot of different people around the table, because that's how we work together well and bring forth, you know, things in our community that are relevant to everyone.
You have to include everyone to make a decision that's on behalf of everyone. So I understand
Correct.
that. I will say you are a big champion of your colleagues, as I do watch all city council meetings, and you do very well at explaining, or because of the cameras in the room, you do very well explaining the issue, and kind of, I hate to use it, I won't say, but just you use a language that everyone can understand. So I do appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. And also, congratulations on all your success, because it is not easy doing everything that you're doing. And as far as AMO, your reference to AMO, which is Association of Municipalities of Ontario, it's great that you're involved with that association. There are a lot of provincial associations, a lot of associations for our municipalities that we pay into as a city, and maybe they're not being used. So I'm glad to hear that you are using it, because they're one of my an organization I'm very familiar with.
Yeah, it was really flattering to be part of the We All Win campaign, and it was really great. And they came and videoed me at Grocer for Good.
Oh, good, yeah.
Which was really, it was just really a great experience to have my political capacity and my volunteer capacity and my baby G4G kind of all come together. It was really, I'm very proud, and I really want to see underrepresented populations, whether it's newcomers to Canada, women, diverse groups, bringing their names forward, because that's how we become a better community, is having all those voices around the table.
A couple more questions for you,
Sure.
and then I'm sure that my producer's probably like, "God."
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think Sault Ste. Marie is on the right path and I'll ask you this because you sat on council the last 4 years with all the work you've done, and I know there's been a roller coaster ride, and I'm sure you've been through a pandemic, and also emergency preparedness plans. Do you feel that is something that needs to be looked at, considering we just came through a pandemic? Were we prepared for this? I mean, I don't know if we could ever prepare for something in such a large scale, but...
Yeah, I don't think you can ever prepare for what we've just experienced. I will say, I think our senior team at the city did an excellent job. Financially, we did okay. Really proud of that. And as well, there is a community safety and well-being plan, which was it's police services plus about 32 other organizations that all took part of that. We also have a downtown safety plan. So planning is always going on. Same with the drug strategy.
Yeah.
So we talk about that a lot at the Social Equity Committee. But I think in terms of what I saw and what I experienced, we had a lot of great safeguards in place. Staff were supported. Our city was supported. And I don't think we could have done any better job with what we did during this pandemic. Okay. I really am proud of the senior management team. All of us on council, we rolled with it and we zoomed along, literally.
You zoomed along. Oh, that's
and work
like
still
trademark.
Work still happened.
Yeah.
Committee work still happened. Work didn't stop. So I think that's another really important aspect. And I applaud our essential workers. Not easy to be driving a transit bus when you're dealing with a pandemic, and they were supported and I really take my hat off to everyone. And I mean, for us, it was, I just had to be in front of a computer and send lots of emails and do lots of phone calls. So I think in terms of us, we had it a lot easier than our frontline workers.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Lisa, and I just want to thank you for being here today.
Hey,
good
happy.
luck. Yeah.
I'm moving my kid off to university.
I know, how exciting! Congratulations.
So I
it's a big day.
It's a bittersweet week for me, but I'm going to be knocking on doors next week. So watch for me. Yeah,
that's it. Congratulations again, Lisa. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
That's all for today on One-on-One with Colette Linden.